The world has spent months watching the quiet battle of Catherine, Princess of Wales. But just when many believed the story was already known, an unexpected voice entered the conversation. From the Vatican, Pope Francis made remarks that suddenly raised new questions about Catherine's future and the monarchy itself. Long before royal titles and global attention, Catherine Middleton's life looked remarkably ordinary. Born in Berkshire in 1982, she grew up in a supportive middle-class family that valued education, stability, and discipline. Friends often described her as calm, thoughtful, and quietly determined, qualities that would later prove essential inside one of the world's most scrutinized institutions. Her path toward royal history truly began at the University of St. Andrews in Scotland. It was there that she met a young student whose life was already shaped by destiny, Prince William. At first, their relationship appeared no different from any other university romance. But the reality was far more complicated. As the future king of the United Kingdom, William's personal life was never going to remain private. Soon the media discovered the relationship, and Catherine suddenly found herself at the center of a relentless global spotlight. Many wondered whether someone from outside aristocratic circles could truly survive the pressures of royal life. Yet what followed surprised almost everyone. Instead of retreating, Catherine handled the attention with remarkable composure. She completed her studies, graduated in 2005, and quietly built a reputation among royal observers as someone unusually steady under pressure. That calm resilience would soon become one of her defining traits. When William and Catherine announced their engagement in 2010, excitement spread across Britain and far beyond. Their wedding at Westminster Abbey the following year became one of the most watched royal events of the modern era, introducing Catherine to the world not simply as William's partner, but as a future queen-in-waiting. Over the years that followed, she gradually stepped into her role within the monarchy, supporting charitable causes, championing mental health initiatives, and connecting with people in a way many believed echoed the legacy of Diana, Princess of Wales. But while Catherine's public image grew stronger with each passing year, something unexpected was quietly beginning to unfold behind palace doors. And when the truth finally emerged in early 2024, it shocked not only the royal family but millions of people around the world. Because the diagnosis that doctors discovered would change everything for Catherine, for her family, and for the monarchy itself. And what happened next would eventually lead to those surprising words from the Vatican. In January 2024, what was initially described as a routine abdominal procedure changed the course of everything. Inside a private London hospital, Catherine, Princess of Wales, underwent planned surgery. At the time, palace officials believed the condition being treated was non-cancerous. The operation was expected to resolve the issue quietly, allowing the Princess of Wales to recover and gradually return to her royal duties. But during the procedure, doctors discovered something far more serious. Further examinations revealed signs of cancer. For Catherine and her family, the moment was devastating. Within days, consultations with specialists began. Medical teams reviewed treatment options, and the decision was made to begin preventative chemotherapy as soon as possible. For several weeks, the palace remained silent while Catherine recovered from surgery and processed the life-changing diagnosis. Only a small circle within the royal household knew the truth. Then in March 2024, the world finally learned what had happened. Through a carefully prepared video message, Catherine revealed her diagnosis publicly. Speaking calmly but emotionally, she explained that cancer had been discovered following her surgery and that she had begun treatment. The announcement immediately sent shockwaves across Britain and far beyond. Messages of support flooded social media. Leaders, celebrities, and ordinary citizens expressed their sympathy and encouragement. Churches across the United Kingdom offered prayers. Cancer charities reported renewed public attention as Catherine's story resonated deeply with families facing similar struggles. But inside the royal household, the emotional weight of the moment was even greater. Because Catherine was not the only senior royal confronting a health crisis. Around the same time, King Charles III had also been diagnosed with cancer. For the monarchy, the situation created an extraordinary moment of vulnerability. two of its most important figures facing serious illness at the same time. For Prince William, the news transformed everything. The future king stepped back from several public duties to focus on supporting his wife and protecting their three children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, from the emotional strain surrounding the situation. Yet, even during treatment, Catherine remained determined to project strength. And when she finally appeared in public again months later, the moment would become one of the most emotional scenes royal watchers had witnessed in years. But what happened behind the scenes during this period, particularly involving the medical team that treated Catherine, would soon spark an entirely new conversation, because that story would unexpectedly lead all the way to the Vatican. And when Pope Francis spoke about Catherine, many royal observers began wondering whether his words carried a deeper meaning about the future of the monarchy. By the summer of 2024, the world had grown used to seeing fewer appearances from Catherine, Princess of Wales. Her recovery and treatment understandably took priority, and Kensington Palace carefully limited her public schedule. That is why the moment she appeared at Wimbledon in July of that year felt so powerful. As the royal patron of the All England Lawn Tennis Club, Catherine had long been associated with the tournament. But this appearance carried a completely different emotional weight. When she walked into the royal box, the crowd immediately rose to their feet in a spontaneous standing ovation. Many spectators later admitted they had tears in their eyes. Catherine looked slimmer and more fragile than usual, but her familiar warmth was unmistakable. She smiled, greeted the players, and spoke briefly with guests, showing the same calm dignity that had defined her royal life for more than a decade. For many royal watchers, that moment symbolized something important. Even while facing one of the most difficult challenges of her life, Catherine remained committed to her role within the monarchy. But behind the scenes, another remarkable detail from the January surgery began circulating among royal observers. According to reports from several European medical sources, part of the specialist team involved in Catherine's treatment had connections to Rome, specifically to doctors who had previously treated Pope Francis. The physicians were associated with the renowned Gemelli Hospital, the same institution where the Pope himself had undergone surgery in recent years. For most people, this detail initially seemed like a simple medical coincidence. Yet among those closely following the story, the connection raised interesting questions. Why had such a specialized international medical team been brought into the process? And how exactly did those connections reach all the way to the Vatican? Then, during a public appearance later that year, Pope Francis made a brief but intriguing remark while speaking about Catherine's illness. He praised her strength, her courage, and the example she was setting during a deeply difficult moment. But one part of his comment stood out. The Pope spoke not only about her recovery, but about the role she would one day play. And that small remark immediately sparked new speculation among royal observers. Because if Catherine's health eventually allowed her to return fully to public life, the future awaiting her could be far more significant than many had imagined. After all, the path of the monarchy itself was entering a new and uncertain chapter. And what happens next could shape the future of the royal family for years to come. Section 4. As 2025 unfolded, something subtle began changing inside the royal family. While King Charles III continued his treatment and carefully managed public schedule, many royal watchers noticed that more attention was quietly shifting toward the next generation. In particular, toward Prince William and the woman who stands beside him. Throughout the past decade, Catherine had steadily grown into one of the most trusted figures in the monarchy. Her work on mental health awareness, early childhood development, and family well-being had earned widespread respect, not just in Britain but around the world. But during her health battle, something else became clear. The public's emotional connection to her had become extraordinarily strong. Each appearance she made, whether at Wimbledon or during carefully chosen engagements, drew immense support. Crowds applauded. Messages poured in online. Across Britain and beyond, people spoke of her with admiration and genuine affection. Many royal commentators began saying the same thing. Catherine had become one of the monarchy's most important figures. In some ways, even overshadowing the early years of Charles's reign, not through politics or power, but through the simple force of public trust. That is why the words spoken by Pope Francis continued to circulate long after they were first mentioned. When he referred to Catherine as a woman whose role was still unfolding, many observers interpreted it as more than encouragement. Some believed it reflected a broader truth already taking shape. Because if the monarchy eventually transitions to the next generation, something that history tells us is inevitable, the future queen beside William will not simply be a ceremonial figure. She will be central to how the institution presents itself to the world. And in many ways, Catherine has already begun preparing for that responsibility. Yet as her recovery continues and the royal family navigates one of the most delicate periods in modern history, an important question remains. Could this period of illness and reflection ultimately transform Catherine's role within the monarchy? Because if the past year has revealed anything, it is that moments of crisis often reshape institutions in ways no one initially expects. And the next chapter of this story may reveal just how significant that transformation could become. As the months passed, the atmosphere around the royal family slowly began to change. Recovery takes time, and those close to Catherine, Princess of Wales, have repeatedly emphasized that her priority remains health, family, and a gradual return to public life. But even during this quiet period, the conversation surrounding her future role has only grown stronger. Inside royal circles, one reality is widely understood. The modern monarchy depends not only on tradition, but also on the trust of the public. And few figures within the institution currently command that trust the way Catherine does. Her calm approach to royal duty, her focus on family and early childhood development, and her ability to connect with ordinary people have made her one of the most respected members of the royal family. Many royal historians point out that moments like these often reshape public perception. During times of uncertainty, attention naturally shifts toward those who appear steady, compassionate, and capable of guiding the monarchy into the future. That is why the partnership between Catherine and Prince William continues to draw so much interest. Together, they represent the next chapter of the institution, a generation balancing royal tradition with a more modern, relatable image. At the same time, King Charles III remains committed to his role and responsibilities, navigating his own health challenges while continuing the work of the crown. But history reminds us that the monarchy is always evolving. Each generation leaves its mark. And as Catherine continues her recovery, many observers believe the experience may ultimately strengthen her influence rather than diminish it. Even the words spoken earlier by Pope Francis seem to reflect that possibility, that moments of hardship often reveal the quiet strength that shapes future leadership. For now, the world continues to watch with hope as Catherine focuses on healing and spending time with her family. Because when she eventually returns fully to public life, her role within the monarchy may carry even greater significance than before. And now we'd like to hear from you. Do you think Catherine's strength during this difficult period has changed how the public views the future of the monarchy? And could this moment ultimately mark the beginning of a new era for the royal family? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the evolving story of the royal family, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more royal insights, and join us for the next discussion as we continue exploring the future of the monarchy.